So, do you guys remember this video? For people who've been on the channel, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I said, The Rock used Henry Cavill for Black Adam publicity, failed, then quietly abandoned ship. Run the video. Run the video.
The DC universe is about to change.
3 days later.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit that I have ever heard. Everyone's laughing, by the way, but it's true because everybody's heard it too. Everyone heard it, right?
Hey, the drip did not change. The drip is essentially the same. Goddamn.
As your stature and your fame. So you marketed Black Adam. Now don't get me wrong, Black Adam is a dope as shit fucking character. I absolutely love Black Adam. And you marketed the character as this, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change because my character is about to arrive and become the center of the DC cinematic universe over characters like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Cyborg, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, any of the various characters that have been mainstays of the initial incarnation of the Justice League, that Black Adam was going to be top tier, above everybody, above reproach, and all the new movies were going to basically circle around Black Adam with him being at the core of the universe, carrying the pillar of the DC universe upon his back. And what ended up happening? Your movie was mid as fuck. Not only was your movie mid as fuck, from what the sources are saying, your movie didn't even like make bank. Like, imagine if you put $100 into a project and you expect to get back 1,000, but you put $100 into the project and you get back 105, and it's been 3 months, and you're like, wow, only $5. Like, your movie was a crypto scam. It was a movie that was supposed to be driven by hype. And that hype was that the Rock's fans were going to be so rabid that they were going to show up, and the DC executives who were about to be fired by Discovery, that the Rock was going to come swoop in.
Oh, for people who've been on the channel for a minute, do you remember when I made this video? Because it did pretty well. It got 2.8K views. You know, the comments were really nice. But we had so many people come in. And we're like, well, I kind of sort of disagree with your take. The Rock would never... Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who cheated on his wife. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who comes back to wrestling just to ruin multiple stories. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who owns $7 production. He would never would Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Never would he come to DC and use Henry Cavill in such a scummy way in order to increase the hype of Black Adam. Remember when I made that video?
I just want to get my timeline down right, because I was somewhat in the middle of this in a weird way, because I talked to Henry Cavill in the middle of when Black Adam's coming out.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. And we love Henry, of course. And
yes,
like,
he's the sweetest guy.
Sweet guy. Love him. And he has the cameo at the end. We had a big moment on stage where he thought he was coming back. We all thought he was coming back, but maybe unbeknownst to him or not, you're already writing a Superman movie, which is clearly for a younger actor. Then soon thereafter, you get the gig as the head of DCU, correct? I had this roughly right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, correct.
So then, at a certain point, you and Peter have to have that unfortunate phone call, I would imagine.
No, we sat down with him. We sat down with Henry.
So without revealing too much, I mean, what is that like to have to be the guy to tell Superman, thank you for your time, we have to go a different way now?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, believe it or not, I was the day we, you know, so we were dealing with trying to figure out if we could take the job at DC Studios,
Yeah.
and we're talking to David Zaslav and all the legal people there, and figuring out what our deals would be. And the day our deal closed, all of a sudden, they were announcing that, you know, and that Henry was back, and I'm like, what is going on? We know what the plan is. Like we know what the plan is. The plan was to come in and do Superman.
Yeah.
So it was really unfair to him, and it was a total bummer. But there was a vacuum at the time, and a lot of people were trying to be as
Diplomatic as possible.
diplomatic as possible.
There were other people that
Don't be fucking diplomatic. There's no need to be diplomatic. The Rock thought he could swoop in. He thought he could use Henry Cavill to tip the scales in his direction to snatch whatever the new thing they were doing over at DC, at Warner Brothers, away from James Gunn and David Zaslav for himself. And he used Henry Cavill as a fucking a PR stunt in order to get people that were on the Warner Brothers board over to his side. And just like in the video that I did, let me see. Do I do one where I show them with the stupid Terramana, with the dumbass Terramana tequila, or is that in like the beginning with the Terramana tequila? Maybe the Terramana tequila is the thumbnail for this video. Hold on, let me see if I was to edit this video. Right there, this thumbnail right here. This thumbnail right here is The Rock, who flew Henry Cavill out to his fucking estate to sit down and drink his shitty tequila in an attempt to do a PR stunt, overblew the Black Adam budget by like $50 million with reshoots of Henry Cavill's Superman at the end, in hopes that he could get the people that were on board with the restructuring of DC Studios, but at the same time weren't really locked in and liked what Zack was doing and wanted to continue that. He was hoping he could pull enough of them from this deal, from this new studio, in order to make himself the top guy. He used Henry Cavill for that. And I said it here in the thumbnail here. Everything I promised is a lie. And from Henry Cavill's perspective, he said, I'll be Superman again. Because if somebody comes up to you and is like, I have a plan, I'm thinking about going this route, I'm doing all these things, and I really want you to stay on board as Superman, and you've loved the character of Superman since you were a fucking kid, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm gonna lock in. I'm gonna try to see exactly where this goes. It doesn't really require a lot of my time, but it opens up a bunch of avenues for me to be able to see whether or not I can come back as a character I've always wanted to play, that I've always wanted to do justice with. He used that. And then the second he realized that he wasn't gonna get DC, that Black Adam wasn't going to make $5 billion fucking dollars, that basically the fans had realized that he was a fraud, that his credibility with Henry Cavill and a few other actors that he acted with had essentially been shot. He washed his hands of the entire situation and he ran. And then he pretended like, oh, well, I really don't want to talk about Black Adam anymore because, that was just a chapter of my life that I want to close and I want to be able to move on. No. Because he has been, and always will be, ever since he became a movie star, a piece of shit. So this doesn't shock me in any way, shape, or form that James Gunn is like, yes, we had a plan. The plan was to reboot everything. I was already on board for months. I was already writing out the storyboards for everything. And then all of a sudden, without WB knowing, or the new people in charge knowing, someone else who wanted to basically take over used Henry Cavill in a PR stunt, tried to have him come back as Superman to drive a customer frenzy or fan frenzy in a certain direction, and completely ruined what we were attempting to set up and announce. The continuation of this bullshit with the Snyderverse fans only exists because The Rock attempted to feed into it so that he could get control of DC and run around and be the big guy. That's it. That's all. That's all it. That is all it has been. It's one of the reasons why you haven't heard him say a peep in regards to comic book movies. It's one of the reasons why he's making A24 films now, where he actually has to fucking act and he can't just be the same character every single time. It's one of the reasons why he's burned bridges with fucking Vin Diesel and he got kicked out of Fast and the Furious, and then he made up with Vin Diesel and he's back on with Fast and the Furious. That acting has been a roller coaster ride. When people were ignoring the fact that your character was basically the same for about 10, 15 years, that shit was cool. But then once people started to realize that the characters you play as are kind of mid, that shit started to take a nosedive. And now you actually have to put effort into acting again the same way you did when you first got into the scene. But this right here, this was damage to the brand. As a DC fan, this is damage to the brand because you have people that are Henry Cavill diehards. They fucking love Superman. Not even on some Zack Snyder shit. They are just fans of Henry Cavill's Superman and Man of Steel. And they wanted more of that. And you took that and you weaponized it in an attempt to be the big dog over at Warner Brothers. And in your attempt to do that, you may have damaged irreparably the future of the DCU. Because now there are a bunch of people who got two messages playing in their ears at the exact same time. Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman. We're going to be continuing his story, which is the bullshit that you fed them. And then Warner Brothers coming out and going, no, we're starting over. Everything's fresh from the beginning. Oh, boy. Man, when I tell you I've been on the Rock's ass for like 2 years because of this shit, from that initial fucking video, I have been on the Rock's ass for like 2 fucking years because of that initial bullshit.